What's our safe word?
Jean-Benet Ramsey. Okay, ready?
All right.
Disgusting is what I call them.
Talking Dicks, two dicks talking from the web series, The Two Dicks. I'm Al Romas in Tampa. That's Al Ducharme in Studio City, and we're talking all things: movies, comedy, COVID, gigs, whatever you want to talk about.
We used to do bullet points, and then we would go ahead and try to move forward with a format, but we abandoned that long ago, as many of you can tell. So we just kind of we have a little discussion beforehand, and then we just roll, and whatever happens, happens. Oh, do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Boom. Yeah, we were talking a little before the cameras rolled, and I was telling you Saturday I took a trip down to Port Charlotte, Florida.
Yeah, you had a gig down there.
Well, I had a lunch with an old friend, Richie Minervini, comedian.
Richie. Oh, yes, Richie from East Side Comedy Club.
Exactly. Ran the really one of the big, best clubs of the late 80s into the 90s. And anyway, he's a comedian. He was performing there. So we had some lunch. And then the club asked if I would do a few minutes. So I went on, got to go on stage Saturday night and do a tight 10. But the crowd was great. It was full. It was like a real Saturday night comedy club. You know what I mean? It felt normal.
They love you there.
Good time.
That's the place that we performed at as the Two Dicks last June 2019.
Yeah, they were asking, the owner was asking me about you and what we're doing. I'm like, we're on twice a week on Facebook with the Talking Dicks. He's like, oh, really? I'll have to check that out. I'm like,
come check it out. And we should go back. We should get rebooked and go as...
He would love it. Yeah.
We did well.
Yeah, no problem.
We did well. We filled the room.
Yeah, I mean, no problem going back whenever, things open up again and we can. But I love these people where I go, well, how's it going? Like, what do you do? What are you up to? I'm like, we got like 42 volumes of Talking Dicks. We've got interviews.
It's actually, this is 44, I think. Volume.
44. I mean,
and then we also did 3 interviews on the Patreon page, and we also did a new episode of the Two Dicks. We actually did 2 episodes.
The Tom Cotter one is up there now on Patreon, and it's great. I watched it earlier, and Tom's got his green screen going, so a lot of various backgrounds. Very funny.
But he's got some great stories. Yeah.
Great stories. Very, very funny. Very funny.
I started out with
yes. You know what? Oh, interesting. When you guys were talking about the movie Next Stop Wonderland, I looked on YouTube. I saw the trailer, and I got to see a young detective, Ducharme.
You did.
There's a clip. Yes.
The camera person was in the passenger seat shooting up like this. The director was hiding behind the seat, and the script coordinator was behind the passenger seat. And I was just driving around Boston for about a good 25 minutes, half hour, and I was just improvising. When actually they could use the word just improvise, just talk. And then the union clamped down and said, no more improvising, otherwise you got to get a writer's credit. So they stopped doing that. But I was just having fun, but my one line got through.
Okay. So they didn't have anything really written. It was just... Were all those guys doing that? Because there was a trailer of guys calling this woman to leave a personal ad, and then they're talking themselves up, I guess. Was that all improvised by everybody? Or
now, this could be exaggerated slightly. There might be some hyperbole in my story, but you know how these stories change. This is 22 years ago. So
right.
I was actually up for the lead in the as the love interest, and they kept bringing me in with different actresses to see how our chemistry was going to go. But from what I understand, they had already cast Hope Davis, but her agents were negotiating her contract, so they were trying to make sure that they had a backup plan. So they were auditioning me to see how the chemistry... I went in 6 times for the lead. And then Brad Anderson, the director, he was actually the nephew to Holland Taylor, the actress who played Hope Davis's mother. Do you remember her? She put the personal ad
Yeah. It's in the trailer. The trailer brought it all back. I had seen the movie in the theater even.
I know.
I saw it, but seeing the trailer, I was like, oh, now I remember this whole movie. And the guy who was the lead, I don't think I've ever seen again. I don't recognize him.
I have a story about him.
Well, make it funny, goddamn.
I don't know if it's going to be funny. It's just interesting. But so I had gone in. Now, Brad Anderson, and by the way, his aunt, Holland Taylor, is a big actress. She was the mother on... she has like 90 or 100 films under her belt. She was the mother on 2.5 Men. She played Charlie Sheen's mother. And she's huge. She's huge. And she lives in a big mansion somewhere up on Mulholland.
Well, yeah. Continue.
Anywho, so I was going in and out 6 times. Brad Anderson felt bad that he couldn't give me the lead, so he says, "But I want you to play one of these date guys because you're good at improvising." Because most of my auditions, I was improvising. So I said, "Okay."
Sound effects.
So he threw me a bone, and he had another movie where he was going to. It was a zombie movie. And he asked me if I would play a zombie. Long story.
Yeah.
So going from the lead to the zombie. Anywho, so I start dating this girl who's an actress, comedian actress, who was living in Los Angeles, but originally from New York City. So I was going back and forth between New York, Boston, and Los Angeles. So we're going into her apartment. And she says, "Hey, Alan." And I recognize the guy. I go, I know that guy. And he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" And we go inside the apartment. She goes, "Oh, Alan was in that movie that you did. He played the lead in the movie. He was the love interest lead." I'm like, "That's where I know him from." He had a rag in his hand and a monkey wrench. I go, "What is he doing?" He said,
"Is he the super?"
He's the super of her building. That is so Hollywood of an actor in between gigs. He held on to his super job because he had free rent.
Right.
And he was trying to get gigs in between the movie was released.
And I don't recognize that. I didn't look up his IMDb and all that, but I don't recognize the guy ever seeing him.
He did a few movies, but he never became like the constant working 50 credit. I don't even know if he's in the business anymore, but
I don't know.
The guy that beat me out for the lead had grease on his hands and a monkey wrench. After the movie came out.
But that really is a perfect analogy of show business, and you know what I mean. That nails it. I mean, you could see someone in a movie or on stage, and then you see them comedians on the road. You're in front of 500 people. The next day, you see the 2 comics are walking on a highway, looking for a restaurant to go eat somewhere, and you're like, "What? Those are the comedians from last night. They look like 2 bums," but that's the business. So I get it. The guy had a job, and
I'm cutting you off for a sec. Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles. The African American gentleman, and one of the funniest lines he says, "Excuse me while I whip it out," and the crowd goes, "Ah!" and the townspeople go, "Ah!" It's a black man penis joke, obviously.
Right. Everyone's seen the movie.
And then 30 years later, a comedian's like, "Yeah, you know my roommate, Cleavon Little."
Oh, that's that's a sad analogy right there, but it's true. That sucks. But yeah.
He's a household name, but he went a decade without much work.
Right, and also a household in households of comedy fans. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you have a sitcom with your name on it weekly for free on people's TV every Tuesday. Otherwise, you're not a household name. People you might think you are, but you're not. You're just.
It used to be
comedy fans, and those people. People follow that. I have friends in New York. They go to movies. They might have enjoyed Blazing Saddles, but they would never know the guy's name.
Right.
They never would go, "Oh, what was that? Cleavon Little? I don't know the fucking name."
As a comedian, I did, of course.
They don't care.
But
they don't care.
They don't care.
But we always know their names, and Like I told you I was watching Where's Papa the other night.
Oh, right.
Where's Papa? Brian, what's that guy's name? Brian Freites. I'm sure he knows all about it.
Brian Freites, comedian Brian Freites, also he has some journalism and some announcer stuff under his belt, but he knows a lot of the details.
He seems to know his film.
Yeah. He's like an encyclopedia.
But anyway, if you haven't seen I had seen it as a kid, but, an 18, 19-year-old kid. But I saw it again and boy, that is the darkest, weirdest, funniest movie from 1970 with George Segal
and Ron
the mother. I forget the mother.
You said, was it Ruth Gordon?
Oh, Ruth Gordon. Yeah, I was hoping somebody might be able to get that.
Oh, I can cut it out.
And
I can cut it out.
No, that's fine. And Ron Liebman in a gorilla suit running across. And then I read they released the movie later in like the 90s, and they put a poster of Ron Liebman in the gorilla suit, and they called the film "Goin' Ape." Some other some cheap movie company bought it with a bunch of films
and renamed it
and Goin' Ape. It's
wow.
Like what the fuck? But I recommended anyone watching this, man. Just George Segal living with his old mother, and she's ruining his life, and he just wants her dead. He wants to kill her, and it is hysterical.
Does he have an inheritance? What is his motivation for killing her? Is he's taking care of her?
He can't stand her. He wants a girlfriend, and he wants a life.
Also, some guilt involved.
Well, he's taking care of this old lady, and she is a full-time. He's a lawyer, but he's got to make her breakfast in the morning. He puts a bowl of cereal. He just dumps it, and then he takes a can of Coke and pours the can of Coke on the cereal. And just shoves it at her.
He's evil.
Yeah, but she is evil, and she's forced him. He has no life, the poor man. No life at all. He's a lawyer. He can't sleep at night. And all she does is walk around going, "Where's Papa?" And Papa's been dead for 100 years, So so he wants her dead. Then he could have the apartment. He could have a life, and he meets a girl, and she's like the nicest, sweetest girl. And, of course, Mama can't stand her and does everything she can to destroy the relationship. So anyway, I was hoping you had seen the movie. But
no, but
check it out.
I do want to check it out.
And anyone here, enjoy it. Check it out. You'll love it. And you know what time it is?
Questions.
Wow, one of my favorite parts of the Talking Dicks program.
I think it is everyone's favorite part of the Talking Dicks, and it's not easy to get these questions, folks. Let me tell you, you gotta beg.
It keeps happening again. It's happened again. I'm talking to someone. Oh my God, I love your podcast. I love the Talking Dicks. And then I go and I look. No comments, no likes. Tons of people are listening to this, and that's it. They go, I forget. Oh, I don't even think of it. It's like play. They hit play. And then they start doing things.
If I look at anything or read anything, I hit like automatic. I just even if I don't like it, I hit like.
And ask a question.
I don't understand what people...
Ask a question.
Ask a goddamn... Would he kill you? So, loyal fan, friend, Deborah Swick.
Oh, we love our Deborah Swick.
Popping in with a question. She writes, obnoxiously drunk hecklers. How do you handle that? How do you handle that?
I usually say, Alfred? Mom.
Where's Papa?
Where's Papa?
There's a director's cut or so with the ending where George Segal crawls in bed with old Ruth Gordon, and then the very ending is right before the credits roll. He goes, "Here's Papa." That's what I was reading on the old internet. I'm reading it.
Well, that's because he's so horny. What is he supposed to be in his 30s? 20s, 30s?
He's probably supposed to be in his 30s. He looks like he's in his early 60s, but
Ron
it's
Liebman?
the 70s.
In the 70s?
Ron Liebman, he's the brother. He's his successful brother who lives across the other side of Central Park. So George Segal gets sick of having to stay with Mama. So that's when Segal calls him and he just goes, "I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her right now. I'm going to kill her." And then he goes running across the park to stop the killing. But anyway, to answer Deb Swick's question, obnoxious hecklers, drunk hecklers, how do you handle that, Alfred?
Well, it depends on the degree of it. If they're trying to be a part of the show, that's one thing. If they're disturbing the show, incoherent, you want the bouncers to take care of that. if they're just excited about the show and they want to be a part of it, you try to do a little bit of volley back and forth, and then you slam them. And usually 9 out of 10 times that shuts them up. But sometimes I've stopped and said, hey, listen, I know you're out having a good time, but it's not fun anymore for anybody. So if you could just retract, just keep it down a little bit, and we'll get through this, And usually that will do it, but sometimes it's just like, well, I'm helping you, and you gotta have the bouncer, somebody talk to them.
Get the fuck out.
Hit the road, Jack.
Get out. I've done it. I've gone. You got to get out. You got to leave. And usually the crowd will applaud. I've had 1 or 2 times where I've had someone yell out, "You could have handled that better." I'm like, oh, really? Really? Yeah, you stand here trying to do an act with drunk Marge over there fucking yelling at you, and I could do it. I could have done it better. I mean, we try. We give a little give and back. Right. No, eventually you have to leave. Yeah. You shouldn't be out in public anyway, If it's really disrupting the show, you gotta go. You gotta go. But I've seen some comedians actually get into fisticuffs, wrestling matches, stuff thrown. I had something thrown at me. A drunk girl threw her drink at me. Who's the best one with the guy at the guitar act, the classic?
Can we get a clip of that?
No, really, don't mess with me, because I don't come down to the bus station and slap the dick out of your mouth when you're working, do I? Get on up here, motherfucker! Give me security. I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
Okay, show.
That was unnecessary.
I think it was in Texas or and the old they're coming up on stage, the guy, and he goes, I'll hit you with the guitar, and the guy comes up and he smashed the guitar over the guy's head. And then I love when he takes the guitar back though at the end. I think he tries to play again. He looks at the crowd. He's actually gonna play again, and the crowd's going nuts about the whole. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I told him."
The crowd took the heckler's side. That's the sad part.
Yes.
That's what you do not want to happen. You don't want the crowd to take the heckler's side. The second worst thing is when you're heckled in the middle of your act, and the guy usually it's a dude, gets a bigger laugh than you're getting, and your job as a comedian is to top him.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if you're in the moment, I don't know if this happened to you. Sometimes, can I have that for my act? That's actually pretty funny. If you know that a good chance you can't top it.
Right.
But you're supposed to. You're supposed to top it.
Yeah, I don't like. I know that you're saying it. It will make sense. I don't like saying that one where can I have that for my act? Because then I always feel like then I'm giving him too much credit. Like you're funny. You're an equal. You're not. You know what I mean? But it's uncomfortable situation. And the worst is when usually a girl up front is heckling and only you can hear her. The audience can't hear her. So when you do respond to her, you will come across as being mean. And they're like, well, why is he attacking that girl? She's not doing anything. And it's like, you want to go, yeah, wait a second. She's fucking bothering me and talking the whole show. But you can't. So it's a tricky, that's a tightrope right there.
Yes, that's a tightrope.
So I don't know if that answers your question, Deb, but basically, if they're obnoxious and drunk, get out.
Speaking of getting out, do we have anything else to cover? Because we have to get out.
I gotta go. You gotta go.
Get out!
You gotta go.
Iceberg, right!
Subscribe. Mary.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money.